think about it from the perspective that every single thing that you do in the things that are below your pay grade are things that are preventing you from being a true champion CEO. Until right now, this very moment, contractors have always been on their own, not as tradespeople, but being alone and knowing how to take their business to the next level. They call us working class, they call us blue collar. They say that we don't have the smarts to become the business owner that we're meant to be. That is such bullshit. You have the ability. You're more than any of that. The question really is, where do you get the insights that you need specific to contracting to systemize your business so you can get your profits to pay for your freedom? I'm Andrew Houston. I'm going to show you how to make more profits, how to get more control, how to get more freedom in the simplest, quickest way possible without any of that bullshit. Welcome to the No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors. Listen up, level up, and if you learn something, like the video, subscribe to the channel, change your business, change your life. All right, rock stars, let's get this rocking and rolling. Welcome to another No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors from us here over at Profit for Contractors. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a 3-step simple exercise that you guys can do, like while you're listening in on this podcast right now, so that you can act on your biggest opportunity. So you'll know if this podcast is for you if you really struggle in getting things done in your days, in your weeks, in your months. You know, I know it's a challenge being a business owner, and we have so many hats that we wear, and so many things that we have to do. We have so many expectations from different people. I mean, sometimes it almost feels like our world is being ran by other people. In a lot of cases, that's actually true. But if we don't do something to do it differently, to change our ability to control what we do and what we don't do and how we go about doing that, well, we're going to get whatever the world gives us, right? And in a lot of cases, that's not what we want, okay? So I am literally going to walk you through a simple model that we use with our champion CEOs at Profit for Contractors. This is something that I use regularly. It's something that my team uses. It's something that this is going to be for you, for your team, for you on the personal front. So it's not just business. It's really giving you the ability to have what I call as a model. And when I look at a model to give you the ability to quickly become closer to that champion CEO that you want to be. And, you know, being a champion CEO, I think one of the core attributes of being a champion CEO is that we are working on the biggest opportunities, okay? And that we are doing our best to enable us to work on those, high enough value tasks that are deemed, closer and closer to the level of being a champion CEO. I've talked on previous podcasts about the value of our time, the importance of making sure that you understand what is the value of your time. So I'm going to be referencing that a little bit, but I want you to get this model. This is something that if you're driving your vehicle right now, you can visualize this in your head. I get a tongue twister there. And have my little coffee, my little mojo. Guys, look, if we don't, like I said, have some method to put things in the right compartments, then we just end up being busy, okay? And busy doesn't mean productive. Busy does not mean profitable. Busy does not mean making progress, okay? So this is going to be a super short podcast. Like, I don't know, I guess we're at maybe a couple of minutes in. I think I'm just trying to find the time on this app. Yes, we're at 3 minutes in. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this baby up in like another 3 minutes, okay? Max. So let's get rock and rolling. So I'm going to open up my little iPad here. Got a nice little app I'm going to share with you guys. Again, if you can't see this, if you're not watching the video and you're just listening in on this podcast, that's totally cool as well. Just, follow me, okay? So listen to the instructions. So first thing I want to tell you is this. Whenever we can put something into a picture, into a model, something that is visual, it can amplify our ability to see through a set of lenses, like a set of binoculars, right? Like it amplifies what we get to see because there's structure to it, okay? Let me be a little bit clearer on this. Most tradespeople, okay, we are very visual driven, right? And we're very kinesthetically driven. That means that if we can see it and we can touch it, we tend to, perform at our best, okay? So what we want to always do as much as possible is create an environment that allows that sort of, allows us to be in that zone, right? If you know what I mean, right? So follow me through this. It's going to be super short and sweet, but it's so, so powerful. Again, I've got like 2.5 minutes here to wrap this baby up. So who knows, maybe I'll go a little bit longer, but whatever. So what we want to do is we want to look at we're going to take 3 circles and we're going to create a model so the circles overlap each other, okay? Just a little bit, all right? So now I've drawn 3 circles, okay? So in your head, imagine that you have 3 circles lined up, like one right after the other, all right? And what we're going to do, actually, I'm going to just draw in here. These are the 3 things and the order in which I go through with you right now, listening in, is super, super important, okay? If you try to do what I'm about to share with you in the wrong order, you're going to get the wrong results, okay? I talk about a recipe, I talk about making a cake sometimes, and, if we don't follow the recipe of the best chef, and we're still using the best ingredients, the same ingredients as them, same tools, if you get something in the wrong order, you put the eggs in last versus, step 2, you're not going to get a cake. This is the same thing, okay? So trust me on this. The first area we have to look at as far as amplifying our lenses so that we can actually focus on the biggest opportunity is this baby here. Stopping. What do we need to stop? Okay, so what do we need to stop? That is super, super important. Now, the reason that we focus in on what are the things that we need to stop, okay, is because it's the easiest thing. You see, if we can stop doing some of these things that we know in our heads, even if we just start today with just one thing to stop, okay, stop taking a call from a Class D client, okay, stop, just knee jerking and not doing what you had planned to do. Stop, dealing with a Class D employee, like something as specific as possible, right? Stop taking out the garbage, okay? Stop cleaning the trucks for the guys. Like, pick one thing, okay? So what we want to do with this, okay? I'm going to get into more details in each of these areas, but the first place we got to look at is what do we got to stop? What's the next area that we got to look at? And by the way, I used the wrong color. Let's put red for stop, okay? Now we're looking at what are the things that we want to, what do we want to keep? What are the things that we're already doing that we actually want to keep doing, or in essence, we want to do actually more of, right? What are the things that we want to keep? So as I'm talking through you with this model, come up with just one thing. Don't think about 25 things. Just think about one thing in each of these different areas. So the first area we talked about was what do we want to stop? Next area is like, what do we want to keep? And the last area, go figure. You're probably like, I think I know what it is, Andrew, right? What is it? What do you think it is? Think about that for a second. What do we want to start? Right, starting things tend to take the most amount of energy, right? They take the most amount of energy. They tend to have the highest amount of risk. Why? Because usually when we're starting something new, our awareness level is not where it would be at if it was something that we were going to keep. In other words, something that we were already doing, okay? Now, there's some really important things that we should start doing. I'll touch on those things in just a second. So we want to focus in on these 3 things, these 3 areas of this model, right? This is like 3 areas of focus, okay? Now, you know what the beautiful thing about this is? Beautiful thing about this is that everybody listening in on this has the ability to use this, okay? Everybody has things that they need to stop doing, okay? Everybody on here listening in, all you champion CEOs out there, you have things that you need to keep doing and keep doing more of. And you have things that you need to start. But if we don't put these in this model, if we don't compartmentalize these things, then it just, it fucking just keeps going around and around and around in our heads. And what ends up happening is that we don't have any structure to this. So what ends up happening, okay, is the model that we have is this one down below, which is like a freaking cloud of just a whole bunch of things in here that we're like, oh man, I shouldn't have touched that today. Oh man, I need to be doing more and more of those things. I need to keep doing more and more of those things. Oh, you know what? We need to start doing, and it just causes chaos. A chaotic mind is a chaotic business, is a chaotic, owner, is a chaotic team. I mean, it's huge. This is a massive, this is a major opportunity for you guys to use a simple model. So what are the things you want to stop? What do you want to keep? What do you want to start? So let me give you a couple of examples of this, and then we'll wrap this baby up, okay? So we talked about stopping. One of the best things, and I'm referencing back to your previous podcast, around the value of your time. Like what are you worth, I believe was the title of the podcast. Ask yourself, one of the simplest exercises of what do you need to stop is to identify some of the activities that you do from the perspective of value, okay? So cleaning the shop, as an example, cleaning the trucks, stocking the trucks, cleaning a job site, those are all things that are important to do to have an efficient environment, right? Because you've got a whole bunch of shit lying around and a safe environment. People could hurt themselves. People are going to be like, "Hey man, where's the ladder?" I mean, tell me if that relates to you, right? Hey, you seen the cutters? Have you seen the the Greenlee bender? Have you, like, seriously, right? It's chaos, right? But if you're the one that's picking up those pieces, think about how much that's worth as far as how much could you pay somebody else to do that? So you want to first of all put in the stop the things that are below your pay grade. Start off with things that are like minimum wage. By the way, what I just described to you was minimum wage employee. Okay, that doesn't mean that they have to be a tradesperson. They could be what back in the day I called a grunt or a helper. Okay, let's use a better word called helper, right? But I remember being called grunt all the time. So what are those minimum wage tasks? Are you going to Staples? Are you going and picking up shit at the suppliers where you could have what I call in our Champion CO group called runners, like guys that are hired specifically to run and do these types of errands, right? To clean the shop, to go get material, right? To go to Staples, to go pick up freaking ink for the printer. I mean, to do those kind of things. And along the way, you're identifying, hey, is this person worthy of maybe an apprenticeship or being trained to become a skilled tradesperson, right? It's a great entry point. But stop doing the things that are below your pay grade. So start identifying what are the things that are not worthy of your time, okay? That goes in the stop area, okay? Now, you might have a whole bunch of things that fall into that compartment. You more than likely do, okay? Think about it from the perspective that every single thing that you do in the things that are below your pay grade are things that are preventing you from being a true champion CEO. You say, I'm going to be straight up with you. Profit for Contractors is super profitable. We've grown, honest to God, I think 4x. I actually know what it is, but let's just say over 4x in the last year and a half. Like, pretty incredible, right? I did the same thing with my automation company. Why? Because the principles are the same. If I kept on working on things that are below my pay grade, well, then I'm going to stay at that level of pay. Make sense? So let's look at keep. Keep, we're going to use the same principle. What are some of the things that you are doing right now? Okay. And it might mean that these are only temporary things. Example, quoting. Quoting is a very important thing. I mean, if you don't quote properly, if you don't have the insights, if you don't know how to quote, I mean, if you don't know what your break-even margin is and things of that nature, you definitely should be reaching out to us or somebody to teach you how to make sure you quote properly. But regardless, quoting is a very high-value task, right? It's worthy of maybe tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, okay? If that's something that you've got to keep right now, in the interim of hiring somebody or creating a structure, well, that would be an example of something that you want to keep, okay? For others, that's going to be something that they want to stop because they've moved up what I call the contractor's ladder of success. They've moved themselves up, become more and more like a champion CEO. So they're going to hire other people to do that. So depending upon where you're at is going to be different for everybody listening in on this. So what are the things that you want to keep? So identify, like, what is the value of your time? Identify some of those things. Hey man, I need to keep on going out to Class A clients and engaging with them. I need to go out to this, a certain size of job site to make sure that it's under control, that it's not sinking. If that's where you're at right now, those are some of the things that you need to keep doing to make sure that you're maximizing your profits. Now let's talk about start, okay? Some of the things that you want to start are going to be things that you have got on your bucket list, okay? And I'm going to maybe add some to your bucket list. But example, one of the things that happens in a lot of contracting companies is there's chaos because there's a massive lack of communication. So one of the things that people don't do is they don't have things like what we have at Prof for Contractors. We've got the tools, the templates, the frameworks called the Monday morning meeting, the Friday reflection meeting. I mean, structured meetings to make sure that they're money-making meetings, right? Maybe some things you want to start is what we teach a progressive profit board, right? Where we're laying out the jobs so that we know we're progressing every single day, every hour, every week. We're progressing every one of these jobs to being profitable, okay? Maybe it's at a higher level where you want to write down roles and responsibilities, so everybody's clear on what the roles are and responsibilities. Maybe it's job reviews. But don't get overwhelmed, okay? Just put some of those items in these, let's call them, these are circles, but let's call them buckets, okay? In these 3 buckets of stop, keep, and start. Pick one from each. That's it. Just one from each. First thing you want to do is, and ready for this, this is the goal. Begin with what is one thing you're going to stop. Okay, follow me here. That's going to free you up some time, isn't it? It's going to free you up some time to focus in on, keep doing the things or this one thing that you're going to keep doing, or maybe even take some of that time from what you stop doing and pour a little bit, sprinkle it over top of the things the one thing that you're going to keep doing and keep doing a little bit more of. You're going to take a little bit more of that from the stop. You're not going to take it all, and you're going to start one thing. So notice that one feeds the next, feeds the next. And guys, this is like a leveraged approach. Okay, so I went a little bit over, no surprise, because I get really excited about helping you guys. And again, if you want to get more insights, you want to get more help on something like this, other models like this, I know you can do this. This is really simple. Again, what are the things you got to stop? What are the things you got to keep? What are the things you got to start? If you're watching this video, you got to build, a little bit more of a visual aid that I'm drawing at here, but simplify it, right? Draw it as 3 buckets, draw it as 3 circles, okay? And, you'll see that, I guess my last little piece of gold here is you'll see I've made a bit of an overlap, okay, of the circles, okay? So the edges of the circles overlap. If you're not following this part, it's no big deal. But the overlap is what I just discussed, right? It's where one area, how stopping something allows you to do more of the things you need to keep, right? And how doing the things you need to do brings more control to your business, which allows you to start more things, allows you to free up more time to do the things that you need to start doing. And it gets you away from this freaking chaos of this gong show that right now is probably in your head, okay? So this allows you guys to focus in on what? On the biggest opportunities instead of working on the freaking least valuable opportunities. And that's it, and that's all. So we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Short and sweet. Driving your truck. Make this happen. Use it. Apply it. Right. Let us know your thoughts. If you want to join a group where there's other like-minded contractors, champion CEOs. In this case, the Contractor Tips Group is a free group. Then definitely join that. Okay. This is where you can ask questions specific to some of these trainings in the podcast. And I'm there to answer it. My team's there to answer it. And guess what? It doesn't cost you anything. All it costs is you showing up and being present and giving as much as you take. And then there's the other aspect, which is if you want to get more insights, you want to really see if we can help you out at Prof for Contractors, then click the link below. I'll give you a complimentary session with one of my strategists to really get an idea, get us to be put into your shoes to see whether or not you're the right fit for us to help you out. All right? Because not everybody's the right fit. That's the reality. Okay? Not everybody is ready for change. Not everybody is ready to do things differently. Not everybody is ready to, dedicate and commit themselves, be accountable to the level of truly becoming a champion CEO. And that's everybody else's prerogative. Okay? So I'll leave that with you guys. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Here's another No Bullshit podcast for contractors from Andrew Houston here, Prof for Contractors. We'll see you guys in the flip. Take her easy. Stay strong. Stay safe.